Morning, everyone. I was hoping to give you some really good examples of the work from yesterday's lesson. But unfortunately, there's not many people that have completed it. I'm going to pick out a few examples. So I just want to have a look at Jesper's first. So the task was to write a paragraph about Nelson Mandela using the notes that you were given. And you had to try and include all of the examples of the checklist that we looked at in yesterday's lesson. So Jesper's put here, I didn't get all of the thing in the checklist, but I got most of them. And I actually commented saying, you have got an adverbial phrase in there, luckily and now. And he says, and look at sentence one because it doesn't make sense. So gone through and checked it. Nelson Mandela, probably the most brave person to fight apartheid, as well as being the leader of the ANC. He fought for the rights for black people and the inequality of the regime. He's got an adverbial phrase to start this paragraph 2, in the year 1962, but he needs to have a comma before that because then it'll be a fronted adverbial, and fronted adverbials need commas. In the third paragraph, he's got another example of an adverbial phrase, but luckily. So it's an adverbial to explain how. He's got another adverbial to start the fourth paragraph, now. So it's an adverbial of time. So adverbial phrases and clauses should definitely be ticked. He's obviously got it in paragraphs. Generalizers. Let's just have a look through this one. All the way to support the ANC. The same year when he got to stay in prison for 27 years. Now, because of hard work and lifelong efforts, all the races are allowed to vote with no pressure on them. So I can't see many generalizers. Generalizers, remember, are many, some, few. So they tell me how long or how often. It's obviously hit pals because his purpose is to inform, and he's done that. He's got the audience correct. The language is accurate. The structure is correct because, again, it's in paragraphs. I'm just looking for embedded clauses. Maybe Jesper can help point one of those out, but I can't see an embedded clause with who. Maybe you could have put Nelson Mandela, who was probably the most brave person to fight the apartheid, was the leader of the ANC. Okay, so that's a good example from Jesper. Well done, Jesper. Just moving over and having a look at Momoka's. So what Momoka's done on hers is a bit of her feedback was to make sure she tries to get an adverbial phrase in there and then starting to underline some examples. She's already edited her spellings, which is really good. Many people is one of her generalizers. Who was also the leader of the ANC is an example of an embedded clause. African government is an example of topic vocabulary. So again, another really good example. And I'm really impressed that she went back and edited it. So when it was sent back to her, Momoka does this all the time. She goes back and edits. So well done, Momoka. Just moving on to another one that was set for a few people. Here's an example of Hagins. So on Hagins, he had the sentences. He had to put them in order and then try and find examples. So he's done a similar thing to Momoka. Green, he's got an embedded clause here. Was Nelson Mandela, who became one of the leaders. He's underlined examples of topic vocabulary, which is really good. And the blue is the paragraphs. He's not got generalizers highlighted, but I wonder if we can find one. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he could have put, travelled around Africa and visited England to gain support from many people. So then we'd have the many in there. He's got an adverbial to start the second sentence as a result of the ANC's violent protests. So another really good example from Hagin. And finally, Anri as well. So I've only just sent this back to Anri, so that's why she's not had a chance to have a look at it. So adverbial in 1990 on the second paragraph. Who vote for Nelson Mandela, so maybe just needs to check the order of the words, but she's got an embedded clause in there. She's trying to put an embedded clause. Moreover, so a conjunction in there. When he got out of prison, he still continued to campaign. So Anri's packed hers full of adverbials, and she's also, I put on here, you just need to check some missing words in there. I love how you've added some of your own sentences into the paragraph. So well done, Anri, and well done all those people that had a go at completing it.